I was called work at work, and I know they didn't mean it in a good way. I know. My MD called me.
Do tell.
My MD.
And what was the context?
Hi guys, welcome back to Untold. We've got a serious, heavy-hitting conversation today, but before we get started, what's pissing you guys off in life at the moment? Oh, is that too...
Light start.
Light start, okay.
Light start.
Always.
Do you know what, actually, I realised, like, recently my road rage has been off the charts, and I personally think that's because of other drivers.
Yeah.
They're the problem.
We saw 4 crashes on the way here.
It's true.
Yeah.
People are moving mad. People are moving mad. And I don't necessarily have a safe car. I'm not sure how she's going to fare. But I managed to, you know, be safe and be cautious and just be aware of what's going on around me. And I just wish the other drivers in the UK could do the same.
I can't comment because I think I'm one of those other drivers. No.
Yeah, you'd probably piss me off.
Yeah.
If I encountered you on the road.
Oh no, definitely.
No, it's true, because imagine you're trying to go in, you're trying to come out of the petrol station, and Symiah's trying to go in the same way for fun.
Someone did that the other day and I thought of you. And I was like, am I the one in the wrong? But I was like, no.
No,
it's cars are facing my direction. Why is this person?
It's wild behaviour.
Symiah doing it, smiling.
Yeah.
Do you know that brings me great joy because I know it's not just me. There's someone else there in the world.
Some are confusing, but
Yeah, not that one. When there's 2 exits, it says entry, and then it says no exit.
Yeah, and if you clock it's the exit, you just have to go round.
Yeah.
And come back. Anyways,
well, yeah, I luckily haven't hit anything
as of yet.
Recent. Yeah.
Yes, keeping it on car theme, parking tickets have been pissing me off.
Please.
I even dreamt of one. I was like, I had a dream.
Is that a dream or is it a nightmare?
It's a nightmare. Oh my God. And ULEZ, so I paid for ULEZ, paid the flipping wrong day. So I got £80 fine, and I've
so
appealed.
Stuff like that could just like really knock you off like course.
Yeah.
You could be like, I'm on budget, like and then you get like 2 parking tickets and a ULEZ, you'll finish.
80.
Like
I said what?
It's so much
I
money.
In January as well.
I got 2 parking tickets in the first week of Jan.
Stop. I got one.
Week 1.
That's not a good start.
It was terrible. So that's why I haven't gone out the rest of Jan.
Yeah, that's you done. Yeah. I refuse to drive now. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. So I didn't know that. Sorry, you said you could have paid. I didn't. I thought I paid for the right date. It's only when I got the ticket I'd paid for 13th as opposed to 14th.
Jesus.
So I had like.
Rude though, because you paid.
I paid, yeah.
And you can see it's a mistake.
So I've appealed. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, but I'm gonna keep appealing. To postpone it to maybe March, and then I'll pay. That's my plan.
I think some of them, like, once you call them as well, I don't know if you can call these parking fine people, but
you can call.
I don't know, but I got a speeding ticket, and they were trying to tell me I got £100 fine and 3 points on my license. I said, God forbid.
3 points.
That's not my portion.
That's not your problem.
And like, I was like, oh, I thought I'd get speed awareness. No, it's only if you're eligible. And I was like, okay, so I didn't get a letter. She was like, oh, we sent you a letter to say, like, you can do the speed awareness, or if not, you're going to get a fine. And I was like, I didn't get that letter. And what I'm going to do for you is, when she did it so quickly, I was like, you were in the wrong. Like, they didn't send the letter.
Yeah.
100%.
They were just trying their luck, because some people don't have the time
to argue.
Take out the time to appeal and argue.
Yeah.
Once you call them, and they know they've tried it, they'll just do what they need to do.
Reminded
okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to call ULEZ. ULEZ, expect a call from me. It's coming.
I speed awareness course before the 10th of February.
I have to actually
you have to pay for it.
17th.
You got a speeding ticket as well?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
And I actually got a red light.
You don't have to pay for it.
You do? Are you
have
sure?
to pay.
I think you had to pay,
yeah. Because
Samantha said you had to pay for it.
And mine was like
less than the fine. Less than the fine.
Do you know the irony?
£90 or 19?
90 is what I paid.
Why did you think it was 19?
Surely not.
19.
19 is something.
Because I got caught in 4K going through a red
light. Oh, yours was a red light one.
No, before. I got a speeding ticket now.
Okay.
And that I had to pay £88. Yeah.
My God.
To book the course.
To book the course.
No, yeah, to do the course. It was 3 hours.
I only recently found out that one can fail.
On the course.
Yeah,
But it's quite basic,
where,
I
like,
think.
it's attendance. I thought it was like attendance.
You said, let me just turn up, and that's it. I'm
that's
good.
literally what I thought. So I was like, okay, but apparently you have to actually pass
Don't
it.
kill me. That's so funny. Yeah, I went through a red light when we were driving to Friendsmouth because I was talking to Taddy, and it was on the motorway.
so
We
easy
thank
done.
God there was no accident. I would have been one of the drivers causing a pile up. And my car's a big car, so it would have actually caused a pile up.
Yeah.
Taddy was like, just keep driving. I said, okay. So I'd already gone past.
You'd
already gone past.
Don't hesitate.
She was
Just
like,
keep going.
Taddy was like, I said green. I said red light, red light. I was like, not loud enough because I did.
But you also don't want to shout at people when
Yeah.
they're
I was
driving.
like, you shout at me because I was like, I don't notice these things.
My sister, when she's in my car, she's just like, I'm like, can you shut up, bruv? Shut up! Like, I'm not driving crazy.
Mind you, that was me in the car driving here. I'll be taking the back. I'm taking the back seat on the way back because I clearly wasn't a great.
Serena's a very
driver.
safe driver, though. To be fair,
Even if it looks like I'm not.
she's a good.
I've got it.
She's a good driver. She's a good
Yeah,
driver.
I will trust my life in your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I a good driver? Now that way.
I think we're all good drivers, to be honest.
I asked about me.
The thing is,
You're a good
I
driver.
know my
Sam is
portion.
also
I
a good
know
driver.
that.
Samia, I haven't really sat in your car that much.
Yeah, it's for a reason. I'm not an
But
amazing
based
driver.
on
You've told
from the stories,
I wouldn't be too sure.
shudder to
I
think.
think,
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say you're the weakest.
Yeah, no, by far.
That was so diplomatic.
Do you know, it got so bad. The other day I was at work and I couldn't park my car. And I just had to call someone from the office to come and park my car, and then I went into work. Yeah. And so it is
My
what it is.
parking's gotten better. Shout out to
I
me.
actually enjoy
In reverse
parking.
parking. Yuck. Yeah. Anyways, that's what's been pissing
You?
me off. What about you, Sri?
I would have said the same.
Parking ticket.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's-
Useless. My money to have to spend. Like even I think no one should have to pay to park anywhere.
Yeah.
Like it should be free.
A lot of things should be free.
We pay
Fair enough.
taxes.
Yeah.
Let me park.
Yeah.
I bought the car.
I paid the insurance.
Paid the insurance. That too. Insurance got up. Oh,
There's a lot of costs.
Yeah.
I think that's what pissed me off. There's a lot of costs in
a
there.
lot of
And
costs.
like you budget for the month, and then somehow it all goes and you're dipping into your savings
Yeah.
Yeah.
every month.
My thing that's
You're
pissing
quite
me
good
off.
with your budget though. Yeah, you're very good.
Mm.
Yeah. I could never do what
It's
you
gotten
do.
worse.
No, you're very good.
Because he lives.
Yeah.
What about you?
The thing that's pissing me off at the moment is the weather.
Oh, okay.
And it's linked to the cost as well, because if the weather wasn't so cold, I wouldn't have to turn on my heating for all
You turn it on.
I do. I
How long?
You sounded so upset.
no, it is. It's
I sleep with the
really
heating on.
bad.
I turned mine on, but I had all. So I just want like how out of 24 hours, how many hours is it on?
Like
For
so,
me, 16.
so like maybe 6.
Okay.
But I made a mistake one day because I can't turn my heating on and have it at like a measly 15. That's never me.
Yeah.
When it's on 30.
Yeah.
I'm turning it to the highest it can make it.
Yeah.
And I made the silly mistake of turning it on in the morning, as I do. I went to work, and halfway through work, I stared at my computer. I just saw money just leaving, and then I got a message of British Gas saying, "Can you submit your meter reading?" So I thought,
You messed up.
my bill was disgusting. So yeah, I blame the cold weather, because I don't like cold weather as it is.
Anyway, yeah.
And then it's now costing me. It's costing me happiness, and it's costing me pounds at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not here for the weather.
Criminal.
It is.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, okay, well.
Yeah. So now we got through some of the things that piss us off, but in general, what pisses me off is inappropriate use of language or not willing to learn how to communicate better. Especially with my poor communication skills. So yeah, I was wondering if you guys want to talk about some of the language used in activism, and like how we can learn how to communicate better, even how we make sentences to make sure that people are not passive, especially women, because it happens a lot, or minorities. So I don't know.
I think there's a lot when it comes to language that has been pissing me off.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that is really, really grinding my gears is basically using the word woke
Hate it.
to basically call us the hard ER. Like that's what a lot of white people are doing.
The hard ER. Stop it.
Because
It took me a while to be like, what's the hard ER?
that's what they're doing. There's a black family in the TV show. You're saying this woke family. Bro, just call me a slur to my face, because that's what you want to do.
People are
That's what
doing.
people
Yeah,
are doing
they
now.
are.
Everything is woke. They're seeing plasters that are like skin colour. So there's
Woke bullshit.
these woke plasters.
Yeah. Or like,
You're actually bastardizing language, and it's pissing me off because now I can't even say the word woke without being like, I know this word is but I mean it by do you know what I mean? And it's just jarring.
To confirm, who are the people?
Racist.
white people.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, people like
Who
Piers
do,
Morgan.
who do you
I
think the
just wanted
people
to
would be?
confirm. No,
Yeah.
that's what I thought I wanted to confirm.
People like Piers Morgan, and the equivalents at Fox News in America, those sorts of people.
I was called work at work, and I know they didn't mean it in a good way. I know. My MD
Who
called
Do
me.
tell.
My MD.
And what was the context?
He was
What
like,
did he say?
Shreeya, because we were having a one-to-one. Like, you know, we go out for.
worse. There wasn't a one-to-one.
Yeah. It was. I think it was a concern, in fact.
Can you turn it down?
HR.
We were. So we normally go for a walk around, whatever, and then get a drink. So we were walking around, and he was like, Shreeya, the team tell me you're really woke. And I said, what do you mean?
The team tell
I said,
me.
what do you mean?
Conversation.
And he was like, I thought you're fine. I said,
Fine.
there was a-
Fine.
So it's
But
an
yeah,
insult,
it
so
is.
a bad thing.
it's an insult.
Wow.
And I said,
I haven't heard like.
and he was like,
these
I've heard you're very, very woke. I said,
Yeah, because people are using it now.
I don't know.
But
what
this
you-
is-
It's because
they're
I'm-
calling anything, any sort of like thing against injustice or anti-racism or anything. Oh, the woke brigade and blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
it's just like got such negative connotations now.
This is so interesting because this is a word that has changed its meaning in our short lifespan. You
Yeah.
know, it would have been at the beginning when this word was mostly used. It was almost a shame on the other person for not to be woke, because actually the word is kind of alluding to the fact that they're not aware or awake.
They're sleeping.
Yeah, they're sleeping in the society.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that through a lot of media and a couple of people repeating it in a certain narrative can change the meaning and the power of the word to then put the negative connotation on us.
Yeah.
So
And the funny thing is, it wasn't. I don't know who coined the term, but I'm assuming it was in the ethnic.
Yeah, it was.
African American.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
So
It sounds-
it's funny that the people that are changing the meaning are the people outside of that.
Yeah.
That's what
And
always
but they
happens.
have a lot of
Always the
influence.
case.
If someone like Piers Morgan is saying it on public platforms and using it in a negative way, that's what it's going to become to the
Yeah.
masses. Whereas it was coined in a smaller, safer community
yeah,
and used as a good thing.
I think that's with loads of the words that we use, is that what is used for the community is taken and
Yeah.
abused
Yeah.
and then used to put us down even further.
Which is so frustrating. And I think also there's like, I do want to say that there's a difference. Sometimes it's people using words or using phrases that they don't understand like why it was coined or where it came from. And sometimes it's like intentionally bastardizing the word. So with woke, that's being intentionally
Agreed.
bastardized. But then with things like say her name, which was coined because black women often weren't like highlighted when we were talking about state violence against black people. That was like, I think that was really heightened when Sandra Bland was killed. It was like say her name, right? And so then you're seeing that being used for other people who are black
But I
women.
think these are intentional.
Do you think
Still,
it's-
yeah, because
it is.
there's a pattern. So say her name is just one example, and if that was an isolated case, it'd be like, yeah, I can see this happening.
I think it might
but
just be ignorance.
no, Me Too.
It's not ignorance. It's
Me
not.
Too was a black woman.
Me Too was a
And now
black
it's-
woman, and it
now
was
it's
specifically for
black women.
violence for black women in
So then
Hollywood.
it becomes like a case of, I think it's a
All
very
women.
subtle way of,
Yeah.
they do it very subtly, taking the power out of it.
Yeah, so I've just found the origin of work. So it was by an African American novelist in 1970, and it was referring to being woken up to issues around just racial injustice. So even when you use it to talk about, like, let's say, more other forms of intersectionality, that's also taking away from that word, because it was literally just around the fact that a lot of people, especially in like Jim Crow America, they weren't aware of the racial injustice. So actually, when President Joe Biden was inaugurated, Boris Johnson was asked when he was Prime Minister, he was asked if he thinks Joe Biden is woke by like right-wing media. So it's just been
It's
it's used as an insult.
Yeah, and it has become just like a talking piece for people
Yeah.
to use, and it's been so sensationalized. Like I remember Caitlyn Jenner even saying, "I will go against the woke brigade" and something. Like when she was running for like Senate or something. I can't remember. She was doing some sort of politician.
Yeah.
That I wasn't paying attention to, and it was very like interesting because obviously she's trans and she was like kind of going against. Yeah.
Sorry, it's more concerning who are grandchildren are. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
It's true.
If you're against,
That's true.
If you're
that's
against
more.
that,
What are you
that's
saying to your
true.
grandchildren?
Yeah,
But anyhow, we
that's
move.
very true.
It's actually true.
So yeah, I just hate it so much. I really
Yeah.
hate it. And it's like, what power can we take back? Whenever we do try and create our little slice of like something,
Yeah.
it's taken and bastardized.
I was gonna say, because when Nieema was saying, when you were saying, you would have thought it was more ignorance. I would have also
say her
thought
name.
the same thing in
Yeah.
that scenario. Because also it's like back to like if it's a positive thing, when you see a positive thing, people want a piece of it. So it's like, oh, this is good. This is a good hashtag. Let's use it. But it's not. I do think that you have to do if you're gonna create a movement or start a movement or you want to fight a cause and you're gonna coin certain terms, even if you're gonna even if we decide we're gonna do a campaign and we're gonna use a hashtag, we're gonna Google it first. And you're gonna see if it's been used before, how it's been used, all of that. So it's also by choice ignorance. They don't know, but they also don't care to know.
It's quite lazy. Sometimes people like to just jump on the bandwagon. That's something. Same with like rest in power. There's just like so many different things that I'm just like, bro.
When you can't be using that
Rest in power
for every celebrity, everyone. That's not what it is. It was coined. It was coined for people.
Down the road.
Yeah.
Rest in power.
Which is not the same. It was coined to talk about, especially like in America, black people that have died due to systemic injustice, and mainly like black people that were in within the realms of LGBTQ who were actually like trans black women especially. That's what it was started off as. To talk about, okay, because they were fighting the fight on every front, right? You've got misogyny, you've got racism, you've got transphobia, you've got so much to contend with, and then they were the ones moving the movement forward. So actually, I also think a lot of people will use these vernacular and people will like, I guess, try to do what I call social media activism, and then not actually read the radical books you need to read. It's you just don't. People just. It's easy to just do a quick 20-second tweet search and be like, yeah, this is what I agree with, or like this seems progressive. Let me agree with that. Nobody actually wants to do the work that our previous, radical revolutionaries were doing, who were actually reading, going into the community, like doing the work, I guess, on the grassroots level, which is what I feel like Untold is really, really trying to do. It's just trying to bridge that gap because it's, it's easy to talk and like, but I don't think it's ignorance. I think it's deliberate.
Oh yeah, definitely.
By a mile.
I
it's
think
deliberate. No, it's deliberate.
Yeah, to understand it.
Yeah,
it's deliberate.
It's deliberate and theft.
Yeah. When
that's all it is. It's stealing. And then there's a trend of
it's colonization. There's colonization of language.
It's colonization of you're right. It's colonization of language, and there's a trend, and it hasn't changed.
No.
And I think it's so. Why this situation is so weird, especially with language within the black community, is that we have shown how creative we are in terms of describing situations and pushing language forwards. And yet where we don't take the power within the language and make that firm that this is what the meaning is, and anything else that we're refusing to accept that as a meaning. But I guess it's quite complex when you have a group of people with a very vast geographies and ideas. So we can't, like, we take a lot of African American terminology. And we might even dilute it.
I think a lot of social justice language is like derived from
it is. Because they were at the forefront of it.
Black Lives Matter, like that.
I think an average person doing it, I would say maybe a mixture of ignorance and just unwillingness to actually do the research. But when systemically it's done, that's definitely by design and a byproduct of institutional racism.
Which is why I've kind of separated woke and say her name.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that was done on a
On
systemic level, but maybe I'm wrong.
Work is done on a systemic level.
Yeah, woke
So is say her name, systemic level, because like if you think about the coverage that say her name got when Sarah Everard was killed by the police.
The white feminist.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
this is my point. So it depends on where the power is driven from, right? Like you have to fight against, when it's say her name, when it was Sandra Bland, it was very much the independent newspapers trying to push through. Whereas if you've got a mainstream platform that perhaps will have white women in power anyway, and the white women, they derive their power not from the fact that they're a woman, but from the fact that they're white.
Yeah.
It's important to talk about it. It's uncomfortable maybe, but it's important to distinguish that. Then of course it's everywhere. That's how white feminism works, right? It's by saying, oh, we're not like them, we're better. That's like when they were trying to get the suffragette movement, for example. That's how they did it. They said, wait, we're not like these brown and black women.
Yeah.
We can think. We should get a chance to vote. So, do you know what I mean? So
I was doing a bit of reading on this because I'm trying to educate myself, and I didn't actually fully understand what the patriarchy means. And what you're describing is basically them feeding into the patriarchy
100%.
because it is what it is a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And they're not calling for equal rights
No.
for everyone. Well, certain groups of people are not calling for equal rights for everyone.
Yeah.
They're calling for the patriarchy to be the same, but to have themselves at a
a
certain
little
level.
bit closer to patriarchy.
The pinnacle of it. But I do think also there's language plays an important part in how we discuss as women. And one of the things Serena pulled me up on ages ago, but I didn't think anything was wrong with it because of the way I speak, was referring to women as females.
Oh yes.
And language
big
is
on
very
that.
important.
Yeah.
And from your guys' perspective, you were telling me that like that has such negative connotations. In my little naive head, because I don't have social media, to me it's just a way of describing a group of people, women. And for me it was covering both all ages, because for me a woman is over a certain age or a certain level of maturity. A female covers girls as well. And maybe because because I don't have social media, and I only with my engagement in science and in biology, you would describe a subset as female, not as a woman or whatever. But again, this goes into learning about language and how it plays an important role. And so I'm more conscious. I do mix them up sometimes, but I'm more conscious and more cautious about what words I use. Is there any words that you guys have?
I just want to pick up
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, I would say because I correct people all the time. Because people do it. Like in our friend circle will do it, just not because they hate women, but actually what's really important based on what you're saying is actually, for those of the viewers that might not know why using female is actually wrong, is because if you think about it, female is an adjective. So for example, a female, you wouldn't say a female cow, because cow itself is the female word for female of that species. Just like that, the female word, the word for a female human is a woman. So when you use the word female, what you're doing is you're dehumanizing that. You're dehumanizing the fact that we're people, number one. And it's done a lot, especially during when indigenous women were forced to be sterilized, right? Referring to them as female, that's that's what they did to just subhumanize them.
Similar
and
to
then
referring to immigrants as aliens.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a language, right? And then when we do it now, it's, I guess, in terms of nobody's maybe it's less extreme than that, but actually I would argue that societally the violence is still the same, because men will be like female this, and the actions might be different, but the same reasoning that this man on a podcast is using and saying females is female that, it's the same reasoning another man will use to kill a woman for saying no to him. The reasoning's the same, the action's different. But let's focus on the reasoning first, because that one is across the board. Right, so I would absolutely, something that I would say really needs to be picked up on, because I can assure you nobody's using females in a positive tone. It's always women who do this, but females who do this. And I would urge you to just look at or try to hear it, because it's the case.
Yeah.
100%. I think it just comes back down to questioning things, questioning intentions, and also just not going along with everything you see and hear, because
and also
some things aren't right.
No, exactly. And also Symiah, not being offended that you were corrected, or
Yeah.
that someone told you, hey, don't use that language. Like at the moment I'm really learning like a lot more about ableist language, and like saying things like, oh, that's insane, or that's crazy, or that's like in the wrong context, like how that's actually really harmful. And for me it's just like, oh whoa, like I didn't know this, like I can correct this. So I don't understand why people kind of get their back up about like stuff like this. Like it's okay if it's an honest mistake, like just keep it pushing.
Yeah. Anyone else got any language learning that they've done over the last couple of years?
I don't think of anything straight away. But I think similar to Nieema, like with the language around mental health also. But
Yeah. Well, I hope that everyone in the comments can maybe put something that they've learned, because it is a discussion, and language changes, connotations to that a certain word or sentence changes, and it's important that we all have discussions about why we use that language, and people explain why they feel that that might be appropriate or not. And so if you would like, just mention it in the comments, and thank you for listening.
We'll be back
Next time. Bye.
Bye.